How's it going, guys? Welcome back. We are in February. It is getting close to where we start thinking about NHL 20. Maybe not as many problems. NHL 19 is going to be fixed. It's being looked forward for NHL 20. And today I want to talk about defense. I feel like, and it's a personal opinion, I'm just sharing it with you guys. I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking on this subject as well. We can all think differently. It's not a big deal. But I do feel like the human defensive, should we call them tools, the mechanics, they need to be fixed in the future game. Now, before you get all mad at me and, just say I'm bad and everything else, you're probably right. But before you do all of that, please do listen to the entire video and then we can discuss afterwards, as we always do. Not a big deal. But I want to share the perspective of playing defense as a human. Please understand, this is not me saying let's go and get some AI defense better so we can skills. I know I am talking the human mechanics for playing defense. But I played my first LG games of the season last night, right? I'm playing defense this season. And if you know me as a defender, I take the blame for pretty much every goal the goalie lets in. In some way or the other, I feel like as a defender, I can look back and say, oh, I could have done this instead of done that. My D partner let a one-timer in. I should have pressured the puck carrier better. The goalie let a short side in. I should have blocked this shot. You know what I'm getting at? So I don't want people to look at this video and be like, oh, he's just making excuses because he can't play defense. That is not the goal of this video. It's to hopefully suggest something I can improve for NHL 20. But we were playing some very, very skilled players last night in our games. It is not the game here in the background. I did not record the game. I should have recorded the game. Would have been some good examples to use in there. My mistake, though, for not doing that. But to say the least, they were guys that love using the LT cut. And if you're really good with the LT cut, you know how to be very, very effective with it. Skating backwards, cutting left, cutting right. You know, all that fun stuff you see real life players in hockey do, right? But that's absolutely fine. If EA wants to put the unrealistic hockey in the game because people complain about it if it's not, that's absolutely fine. But I'm begging, I'm on my knees here, EA. The D-man need just as much ammunition to stop it. There's so many things that you can quote-unquote do as a forward that is almost undefensible. I guess I shouldn't say undefensible, but it's almost defensible to how does the puck bounce when you get it off their stick. But I do have a couple examples here I do want to talk about today to show you what I'm talking about. I mean, you look at this right here. Teal makes the perfect poke. All right, big deal. Good job. Good job on Teal. He poked the puck. He got it off his stick. But what happens? The forward that had the puck reaches around behind his back and just magically picks that puck up, where I wish you could show me an example of this in real life hockey where he gets the puck, it goes by, he pokes it off him, it goes behind him, and the guy just reach back up there, glues it right back to his stick. That's one of those problems where I think, like, look, he did a good job defensively, but how much good can you do when it goes right back to the player? That is one of the bigger problems with the stick lifts I do have as well, because in the stick lifts, you make that animation and then you get burnt when you make the stick lift. You take it off the stick, but if he picks it back up after that, all of a sudden you're caught flat-footed because you're still in a stick lift animation. But then you look at this one right here. And I don't mean to make this about the poke checks by any means at all. I'm not asking for you to buff up the poke checks like crazy or anything, but they do for, as far as poke checks are concerned, you can always, deem the direction the puck's probably supposed to go, or how I'd be a little bit less likely to pick it back up as a forward, as far as I'm concerned at least. And this is one where you honestly could call it a game changer right here. First off, Blue pokes the puck off the defenseman's stick, but the puck falls off his stick. And instead of going backwards, it goes forwards, which, hey, it's fine. Maybe the puck went forward because the defenseman was trying to pass it up to the left wing or the center. And obviously, when you're pushing that puck forward, there's more force going forwards, and maybe the poke check had pushing it backwards, and it just redirected the puck. Not a big deal. But the problem here is it doesn't look like the defenseman makes that passing motion. It just looks like he got straight he just got straight poked, and maybe he was moving forwards a little bit, and it still went forward with him, though. In that event, you would expect the puck to go backwards, and then maybe get an odd man rush for the team that pokes the puck, possibly a goal, possibly not. But that wasn't the problem in this clip right here. It's funny because I clipped this clip and I just noticed. I was like, oh, how about that? That's just something, not the problem I was concerned about. What I was concerned about is what Green did here. Green makes this poke check. Now, I'm going to be the first one to say it. You look where he is in a position. It is very blah positioning. He was in good position at first, but he didn't poke. But then he got, the guy went around him and then he poked. And what happened here is he got all stick when he poked. Like I said, not great position, but he poked and he got all puck. He got all of the puck, and then he tripped the guy. And I brought up this example right here because it is very common when you're very close range like he is right here, where you can poke the guy, poke the puck off his stick, but because you're so close to him, you trip him. Like I said, I am by no means asking for a spam poke check. I definitely do not miss that. But when you are directly in front of a guy and you trip them because you poke check just for the pure fact that you're too close to them, I feel like that's something EA may have to look into. Because I can't tell you the amount of times where I'm at the blue line, the left winger skating straight at me, and because I'm holding exactly at the blue line and he's just getting to the blue line, I poke check it, we're right in front, directly in front of each other. You poke the guy and he trips, where you think, well, it's a half a foot poke. Just give a little love tap to the puck and you'll be fine. Regardless, though, I understand the whole poke checking mechanism. It's very subjective. A lot of people are going to have a different opinion on it. But I will say this. I know what a lot of people can't agree with here is, what do you do then? What do you do if it's a trip all the time there? Well, you go out there and just stick lift. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, the problem with the stick lift, and I'm completely for using all of your defensive tools, and that's why we're making this video. I would love to see the user defensive tools have to be used. That's the more you have to use your user tools, the more skill gap there's going to be, right? But here's the thing. If you stick lift, the puck just keeps rolling. Most of the time, it keeps rolling. And the second you get done with that stick lift, the skater will go and pick it right back up, depending at the angle. If he's coming straight at you and you stick lift, there's a lot of times where you'll stick lift, he just keeps running forward, he runs through you, he picks the puck right back up. And because you're in that stick lift animation, your stick's still in the air coming back down, you're somewhat flat-footed, the guy picks that puck up, and all of a sudden you're burnt and beat. And then option number 3, when a guy's LT cutting, is lay the body on him. That's probably the best option. Most people tell you, well, if he's LT cutting, lay the body on him, knock him down. Well, let's take a prime look at what happens if you're one-on-one with a good puck handler, courtesy of Nasher's Twitter. Keep in mind, unless I'm missing something here, this is an esports matchup. Two top-tier guys, top-tier defenders, top-tier, they're not here because they're bad. They're good defensively, they're great offensively. And you look at this guy, he skates halfway into the zone, backward. Just, wiggling back and forth like it's nothing. The way to get the puck is via stick lift or via bumping, right? But like I said, he's wiggling back and forth really quickly, so the stick lift may be a little bit more risky than just laying down a body, as, you might slash him, you just might miss it completely, and he'll just go right around you. So you watch what this guy does, whether he is trying to stick lift or whether he is trying to hit the guy. The second he makes that motion in one direction, the forward pivots in a complete 180, quick as you possibly could imagine, and goes in there and dunks the biscuit in the back of the net in the blink of an eye. And this is kind of what gets me, because that play, it's praised. And you got to, you look at the play and like, that was a pretty nice play. I'll be honest, it looks nice, etc., etc. But what part of that play can you honestly say you have ever seen in an actual National Hockey League game? I think we're playing hockey at least. I'm not sure. Somebody might have to clear that up. I'm pretty sure we're playing hockey. But again, I'll bring it up. Like I said, I don't care. If you want the LT cut in the game, all the fans love the LT cut. That's not a big deal. Go ahead and put it in there, EA. If the way we're building NHL games these days is just by what people want in the game, that's absolutely fine. But if we're going to do what everybody wants, I want jump dekes that stay on my stick the entire time so I can just like fairy godmother it all the way around to everybody. Just kind of like jump deke over the defenseman with it on my stick blade and just kind of walk it. That'd be kind of cool, right? Or like a little backyard hockey power play kind of thing where you just get like a power up. Walk around with the puck on your stick, not a big deal. But like I said, if you're going to give all these forwards these tools to, get around the defense and do all these fancy things, that's fine. But you have to give the defenders a way to stop it. That's what I'm asking for here, is ways to stop plays like that if you're going to put them in the game. Because right now, it is stoppable. I'll be completely, that's stoppable. It completely is stoppable. But you look at stuff like stick lifts, you look at poke checks, you look at hits, and can we call them 50-50 plays? And by 50-50 chance, I mean, you go up, you hit the guy, he falls off the puck, right? Whether he falls down completely or not, there's a 50-50 chance you're the guy that picks that puck up after you hit them, or your team gets the puck up after you hit them. Same with the stick lift, same with the poke checks. So even if you were to perfectly hit that guy, he could get the puck right back. Or if you were to perfectly stick lift the guy into the zone, like I said, he'd get the puck right back 50% of the time. Maybe it's 40%. Maybe it's 30%. But the problem here is that play right there as a skater, as an LT user, works probably 95% of the time. Like, you're not going to lose the puck 95% of the time. And it works with everyone. That's probably you're seeing people with grinders, you're seeing the bigger builds, who should probably have a hard time holding onto the puck doing fancy stuff like this. I mean, I don't even think Patrick Kane can do some of the stuff this guy just did in that clip. But regardless, I don't imagine Daniel Chara ever successfully LT cutting like they do in this game. But when you put the odds like that, you can look at it and say the game is heavily favored to help offensive players. just logically by the fact they can lose the puck and they can get it right back. But if the defender makes one little mistake on, you know, some LT cut or something, it's over. So what I'm just asking here is, if we're going to allow every single player to LT cut and do all the fancy dekes successfully, like they're all Pavel Datsyuk and Patrick Kane and Connor McDavid, then you have to allow all the defenders to have the awareness, the ability to get the puck off the stick at a higher success rate, like they're a Norris Trophy winner every time they're out there. And like I said, admittedly, LT cutting, it's not something I'm a big fan of just because it's unrealistic. I'd rather see EA try to make a realistic game than, you know, do stuff that just looks like we're playing figure skating out there. But I know a lot of people love it, so I'm not asking EA to remove it. I'm kindly asking EA to give the D-men tools to stop it. And I think that's an interesting thing to talk about too as far as defense is concerned. I've learned, especially right before the pre-beta tuner when I was playing forward more than defense, is the best way to play defense was just running into the guy. Run into the guy, try to run through him. Don't hit him, because if you hit him and you make a bad animation, he's going to cone you. Don't stick lift, don't poke check, because you can take a penalty. But the best way to get the puck off of a forward or a skater stick was just to run right through him and then let the animation defense automatically pick the puck up or push it off of him or whatever else not. And it is starting to look like the answer again to how to play defense properly right now. And that is understandably very frustrating as a forward. I can understand why people as a forward, you look at their side of the mirror here and they're like, it's too easy to play defense. It's too easy for these guys to play defense. We need the L2, the LT cuts and stuff to make things work, or we can't get around defenders. Not that I've seen any esports guys have problems getting around defenders before, but that's where I go out and say, then get rid of the animation stuff. Like I said, I'm all for having every single player have to play human defense. If you go up there and let the animation do all the work for you when you're trying to get the puck off the guy's stick, don't let the animation do it. Force the guy to use his tools, but make sure the tools work. I would love to play defense where I'm being forced to poke check, being forced to get the puck off the guy, being forced to press the buttons to get the puck, even if it's a one-timer or something. I'd rather have a button where I can press, like, you know, knock the one-timer down, knock the sauce down. If there's a different variation, I know, skill stick, right? Different variation of playing defense, but what I've learned at playing defense is it is 10,000 times easier, especially on the one-timers, or like I just brought up, trying to get the puck off the guy. It's so much easier just to run into the guy or stand in the passing lane and let the computer's automatic animate or your player's automatic animations play defense for you. That's not defense. And that's where I feel like, you know, there's less skill gap. And I can see why, you know, forward skaters would be frustrated. That's why I said I'd love to see them make it where you can use all your defensive tools. You're forced to use them, but they're effective. They're way more effective than they are right now. I know it might be something for people to get used to, but it's, again, I guess it's also a big part of the puck pickups. A lot of people talk about, well, it's the puck pickup problem. You can't pick the puck up, they pick it right back up, it bounces around, la-da-da-da-da-da. It's just, in my opinion, I'd rather you be forced to do as much as possible as a user. You hear a lot of people talk about the skill gap. It's not as much this year. Well, if you force the user to control more things, there is more of a skill gap. Or if you force, you know, like I seen in MLB The Show now where they're forcing, you know, fielding traits, fielding attributes, all that stuff matters more, where you can't go out there and use a catcher at shortstop. Well, if you can't use a defenseman at forward or a forward at defenseman or a... Not really the point I was getting at here. But if you can't use, he's a Daniel Char to LT cut, right? Like, you shouldn't be able to do that with the bigger guys. Force these guys to do something different with their bigger guys instead of exploiting where, oh, let me just use a big grinder and I can do the same things that I shouldn't be able to do, but I can with a sniper or a playmaker. It's just an idea. It's just an idea. I know everybody might think differently on it. I'd like to hear what you guys are thinking. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.